How much fun is a week like this?
It's great fun. It's you don't have to worry about the kids being ready to play the game. And this rivalry has always been a good, hard-fought, clean. Both teams usually at the end of the night will pray together. This year will be different because of the COVID, but it's just a good series, And the last couple of years we've had really good games with them, and I expect to have a good game this Friday.
Where's that fine line of making sure your guys are sharp and prepared and not too tight and too prepared, if there is such a thing?
I think in the way we present every region game, every game has a value to it. And this game has the same value as last year when we played them week 3. It's a region game that you want to win. You want to keep yourself in great position in the region. And we approach every Friday night, not even out of disrespect to nobody, but all we worry about is ourselves. And whoever we play, they'll be at the game. We prepare for that team all week. But what we're concerned with, if we can do the things that we try to do to our best. And if we do it enough to our best, then we've got a chance to win most every game.
You got a long way to go to the finish line, I understand that. But when you come into a season like this, coming off of the championship of a year ago, you've got spots you've got to fill. You had a lot back, but you got spots you got to fill. How satisfying is it to see your guys develop and put themselves in a spot where they can play for what they're going to play for Friday?
Well, it's very rewarding. In a normal off season, what they endure to get there is tremendous. 6 a.m. workouts, a lot of time is there. And I felt like coming in, we lost that edge on people because, not that other people don't do it, but we really stress. We get about 9 workouts a week in the off season. We get 4 mornings a week and every afternoon. So we lost all that. And so it kind of, as a coach, you feel like, well, everybody's going in equal this year. Well, we felt like we had some momentum or something going in that we'd got ourselves there. So we had a new quarterback. Our offense is quarterback driven, and so Connor really needed that off season. We needed a lot of 707 this summer. We didn't get it, but the good Lord's got a way of getting everything right, and he's worked hard. Connor's worked hard. That was the key. Could Connor pick up all of our stuff? And we've been able to add a little bit each week to him. A couple of young guys on defense have really come along and played well. We've had some key injuries. We've lost some kids, for many, many weeks, and we've had people in those positions step up too. So it's very rewarding, Chris, and to see a guy that has stepped in and doing great things. That's why we do it, and our kids love each other. They're the best bunch I've ever had as far as everybody seems to be pulling for each other.
Every year is different. Every team is different. Every program's different. But you are now the hunted. And you and I talked about this in the preseason. Playing Hoover, which hasn't won it all in a couple of years, which is a drought for them, against you who won it last year. How different, if any, is that for your guys? Or is that part of the challenge to make sure that none of that really creeps into their head?
Well, that goes back to how we start everything. Last year was gone. We won that game tonight, and we celebrated for a time, and we talked about it. This is a whole new season, and I know in our minds that last year at this point, it don't enter our minds. The only thing that enters our mind, and we openly talk about this, I believe in this to our kids, if they've got good sense, which they do, we're aware that there's a state championship down the road. We talked about this. I think young people, they need to remember that vision and that dream of somebody's going to lift that trophy. And we've got to do everything in our power to play the best we can. If we play the best we can, we've got a chance to lift that trophy. And if we play the best we can and somebody's better than us, then you can live with that. But what you don't want to live with is not giving your best effort and having to look back and say, man, we could have done this, which we don't allow that here. There's no we could have. It's either we're going to do it or we're not. And so I think that this year stands on its own. I think the way our coaches prepare our kids each week, I think those weeks will come, and I think our kids will be prepared for whoever we draw that first round. Then you play it the second round, third round, fourth round. And so I think our coaches do a great job all the way back in February, March, April, talking about this year and being in the present. Being a champion today Because if you don't do that, you don't have a chance to be a champion down the road.
I've seen them 3 times this year. It looks like Hoover.
Yeah.
But what concerns you the most going into this?
They're different on offense this year. Tad's back. They throw the ball a lot more. In the past, they had a different offensive philosophy than they do now, and they're good at what they do on offense. They're still really fast on defense. They play a lot of different fronts that, not necessarily the way they line up, the way they slant. They move their fronts, and they run to the ball real good. They're well coached. So it's a typical Hoover team. Those kids over there, they know what it takes to be a Hoover football player, and we're just getting here where our kids understand now what it takes to be a Thompson football player. So, you see it every week. It's going to be 2 good teams going at it. It's going to be getting off field on 3rd down, turnovers, and it'll shake out like that.
Last thing, when you and I talked preseason, we talked about your background a little bit. This one's kind of cool to me. You're a Bessemer Academy guy. He's a Coosa Valley guy.
Yeah.
Y'all are coaching at 2 of the biggest high schools in the state of Alabama, but you came from 2 small school programs that produced 2 of you. You guys have a very similar faith. It's really unique, isn't it? The match, people that like to look at the head coaching matchups, the relationship there is very similar, isn't it?
Yeah, I think about that a lot, Chris, and the thing that I'm happy about when we do play Hoover is I know that they're a faith-driven team. I know that we're a faith-driven team, and if it comes down that one of us are there, you feel like God's going to get glory for whatever goes on. And to me, that's the important thing. And I know we respect their program. They've been good up here a long time. And so when we want to beat them, it's not out of hate or anything. It's out of respect for their program. We're just trying to climb and build our program too. But, it is a little different knowing where we've come from. And we are really blessed to be at 2 great programs. And I do feel like, that God is He's not unhappy with us. So, if you can walk in that favor and there's a lot of good coaches in our region, don't get me wrong, but Josh is pretty open about his faith, and we're pretty open about our faith here. And so, I enjoy playing them because it's a challenge. You got to play your best to beat them. If you beat them, you can feel like you've accomplished something.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for being with us today. Everybody wants to be in a position to win a championship, so how much fun is it to be in this position this week?
Well, and the thing about it is we've kind of been in this position for a while. What you don't want to do is take it for granted. So, the past 20 years we've been pretty blessed around here to play for championships and have that opportunity. And so, we just talk daily to our kids about making sure they don't take it for granted. But it's exciting. We're looking forward to it. It's a chance for a region championship, but also at the same time continue to play at a high level.
That's right. And how much more rewarding is it this year given all the challenges that everyone's faced?
Well, yeah, there's no doubt. What these seniors have been through, what these underclassmen have been through to get to this point, to be 9-0 and play for a region championship, and not to know, 3 or 4 months ago whether we were going to get to play football or how long the season would be or the, just the makeup of it. So, yeah, I can't say enough. We're blessed to be able to be in this position.
Well, tell me a little bit about how your team's improved since the beginning of the season.
Well, I just think it's been everything from brotherly affection for each other, just unity. Trusting each other, depending on each other, because there for a while there was a couple of months where we weren't around each other, so you don't get to work on that mindset that you really want where you see each other every day. Then in the summer I thought we built on that. I thought, our kids have done a really good job, defensively. I think we've done a really good job running to the football, getting takeaways, and then getting stops. Offensively, we've done a really good job being able to run the football here of late, and we got to be able to continue to do that. And then on special teams, just being consistent. I think our return game's getting better, and we're getting better on our coverages, so we got to continue that improvement.
Absolutely, and you've got a lot of depth on every side of the ball, and specifically, I think you've used 4 running backs this year. How unusual is that type of depth at this level?
Well, here we try to do a really good job trying to develop our players. So, we've always had a couple of young running backs that we always tried to get reps when they're varsity to develop them. So if we get to a point in the season where younger guys are playing or they've got a, it's always next man up mentality here. So I think you're always trying to develop kids from January all the way till now, so you don't put yourself in a situation because, like I tell people all the time, like depth for us here is what we call supplementation. It's not substitutes. So supplementation means we're going to add to what we're doing, not take away from it. Whereas when we substitute, that's just a guy standing in, and now we got to change what we're doing. So we're just trying to create depth every day.
Okay, and your defense has faced a lot of different looks this
Yeah.
season. What specifically does Thompson's offense bring this week?
Well, just a lot of explosive, great athletes that can run, and they got a quarterback that can spin it. And, I think their quarterback and receivers are on the same page. I think their O-line understands what they're doing, and their running backs run hard. So, their 11 are really good players, and they do a really good job. You can tell they have a lot of good chemistry between them. And then, you've got to do a good job of not giving up explosive plays and not busting coverages. They've got a lot of explosive plays where, you have busted coverages, but you still got to find the open guy. And their guy does a really good job of finding the open guy, and their receivers trust him, and he trusts them. And they've done a good job of protecting him. I think the thing that makes their quarterback so special is not only can he make all the throws, but he's really good with his legs too, and he's a dual threat guy. So we got to do a good job of keeping him in the pocket.
So in your mind, what's the number one thing that y'all need to be successful in order to win?
Well, we just got to keep the ball in front defensively. That's the number one thing. We got to be good on first down. I think if we're good on first down, we can put them in some 3rd and longs and keep ourselves out of 3rd and longs. Then we allow ourselves to be successful and be able to move the sticks and then keep them behind the chains. So, in big games like this, it comes down to special teams. It comes down to penalties, and it comes down to, I think, explosive plays and takeaways and turnovers. And we got to win the turnover margin.
Okay, well, as long as you've been at Hoover, your team's either won or been in contention for a championship. So what do you think it's taken? What's your recipe for success?
No, I just think, God's blessed me tremendously. I just wake up every day, try to give a better version of myself. I haven't been here 13 years. I've been here 1 year 13 times. And so when I wake up in the morning, I'm trying to find ways to help our kids get better. It's the same message. I just try to deliver it a little bit different because every makeup's a little bit different. But I think we have to have a standard. And that standard can't change, and that's what builds our culture. And then if we don't follow the standard, there's consequences, And so whether that's in life or whether that's in football or that's when these guys grow up and they're husbands and fathers one day, and and it's about believing in what we're doing here, trusting in what we're doing, and we want to learn it, we want to protect it, and then we want to live it.
Good. And you and Coach Freeman have a lot in common as far as your backgrounds and your faith and some of the ways you run your team. Is that something you think about when you face him on Friday night?
No, I don't really think about it. I got the utmost respect for him and, and what he does and, how he lives his life, and have a lot of respect for him and his faith. And I know he's strong in his faith. But, when the week starts, it's just, trying to be locked in on what we're doing. But I do have a lot of respect for him, a lot of respect what he's been able to do as far as coaching go and the impact he's made on people's lives.
Good. Well, thanks so much. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you. God bless you, and go Bucks.
Thank you.